Transphobes online are accusing a female Algerian boxer, Amani Khalif, of being a man. Now, Khalif had faced off against Italy's Angela Carini, who ended up stopping a match after 46 seconds due to a broken nose. So it was a pretty hard punch, right? Now, during the first round, Carini had consulted with her coach twice before the fight was halted. Officially, Khalif won by ABD, or abandoned, because she left the fight. So this happens in sports, especially in sports like boxing, where the whole point is to punch your opponent in the face until they give up or are knocked out. Unsurprising, right? But since it is 2024, that means transphobes are going to immediately jump in and start with their bullcrap. Starting, of course, with libs of TikTok. Of course. Meet Amani Khalif, a boxer who was banned from the Women's World Box Championships in 2023 because he is a man. Not true. However, Khalif is being allowed to compete in women's Olympic boxing in Paris. Just another reason to boycott the Olympics. Elon Musk, chief twit, reposts this video. True, or let her deny it. And that's a picture of Carini, of course. There's more. Piers Morgan. So disgusting. I once asked our new sports minister, Lisa Andy, if she would be happy for Floyd Mayweather to identify as a woman and compete in the Olympics against women. And she refused to say it. It'd be wrong, unfair. Be interested to hear a response to this. What response? It's two cisgendered women boxing. Again, no one is transgender there. J.K. Rowling. Could any picture sum up our new men's rights movement better? The smirk of a male who knows he's protected by a misogynistic sporting establishment, enjoying the distress of a woman he just punched in the head and whose life ambition he just shattered. He, as a woman, not transgender. Okay? J.K. Rowling, Piers Morgan, and of course, all sorts of online idiots. That's what this is. Online idiots. So here's the reality, okay? Khalif is not trans. She did not go through male puberty and does not have a penis. Okay? None of that's true. If you're seeing posts like saying any of that stuff, not true at all. Not true at all. Now, getting back to the International Boxing Association's gender eligibility test, right? So that's one thing that transphobes are citing, right? Now, it was reported last year that she had failed that. Oh, for what reason? They won't say. Now, Khalif responded to that by saying that the IBA just wanted to keep an Algerian woman from being able to compete and win. And certainly she has won some, she's lost some as well. Okay? Now, that said, in 2023, the IBA was stripped of its right to govern international boxing due to allegations of financial, ethical, and governance-related issues related to 2019. So, not related to 2023 at all. The IOC ended up taking over and allowed Khalif to compete. Now, it's important to note that the IOC has a framework highlighting the need to protect against disproportionate advantage. So, that said, the previous guidelines had put a limit on athletes' testosterone levels that required some of them to undergo treatments the IOC now describes as medically unnecessary. Okay? Before 2016, the IOC had also required athletes to undergo genital surgery. They don't require any of that now, right? But because of these changes, you are seeing online pushback against anybody who doesn't look feminine enough and who might have slightly higher testosterone than the average woman. Now, of course, all this happens, it is what happens when you're an idiot and don't understand biology. When you haven't looked up, when you haven't read up, it's okay to be ignorant on the issue, right? And not know things, and then try to find out those answers. Try to find out the reality of the situation. Try to do a little bit of research, right? There's nothing wrong with that. I encourage you all to look at the facts, to look at research, to look at biology, to learn something new every day, because guess what? We never stop learning. Human beings, people, adults should never stop learning. Should never stop learning new things and expanding their horizons. That's kind of a benefit to the current age that we live in. There's a plethora of information everywhere if you know where to look for it. But the people that I'm going after are the ones who refuse to learn anything new and are idiots, okay? They do not understand that biological women can have varied testosterone levels. They can even have XY chromosomes. No, they can't. Biology. You don't know your biology. Shut up. Women with XY chromosomes have something called Swyer syndrome, which is classified as a disorder of sex development, or a DSD. Girls with Swyer syndrome have an XY chromosomal makeup, as boys normally do, instead of an XX chromosomal makeup, as girls normally do. Despite having the XY chromosomal makeup, girls with Swyer syndrome look female and have functional female genitalia and structures, including a vagina, uterus, and fallopian tubes, though the one thing they do lack are ovaries. Instead, where the ovaries generally are is usually like non-functional scar tissue, okay? Now, because they lack ovaries, girls with Swyer syndrome do not produce hormones and actually do not undergo puberty at all. They don't undergo a female puberty or a male puberty, okay? Now, that is one reason why there are hormone therapies that are available. So all the people that are like, we got to ban the hormones. No, because they're used to treat Swyer syndrome. Now, as far as testosterone is concerned, right? Women's bodies also create testosterone. Yes, they're not completely devoid of testosterone. What it does is that it helps with growth, maintenance, and repair of a woman's reproductive system, as well as bone mass, and of course drives certain human behaviors, right? So testosterone is in a woman's body. It's just in a smaller amount than obviously a male body, okay? So they do develop it. That said, when you have too much of it, there can be issues. In fact, the most common cause of high testosterone levels in women are hirsutism, polycystic ovarian syndrome, or PCOS, and congenital adrenal hyperplasia. The symptoms of having too much testosterone are pretty clear. Excess body hair, specifically facial hair, balding, acne, and enlarged clitoris, which is not going to be very clear, I guess, to people on the outside, but decreased breast size, deepening of the voice, and increased muscle mass. So now, is this what Imani deals with? Apparently, and I'm not 100% sure, but she may have hyperandrogenism. Okay, so this is an excess of testosterone. The IOC cleared her by saying, well, just because you have a little bit of extra excess testosterone doesn't mean that you shouldn't be allowed to compete. You are still a biological woman, and really, it doesn't give you an unfair advantage, okay, having just a little bit of extra testosterone, okay? So that's why she's allowed to compete, but the IBA had very strict limits on that, and said, no, we're not going to allow her to compete. So understand that that's where that comes from, okay? Now, that said, this is nothing more than a ridiculous freak out by people who hate trans people. Remember, this is not about sports, not about fairness. This is about hurting trans people. Now, the unfortunate side effect of going after trans people is also you end up hurting cisgender people who don't look feminine enough, like Imani. Imani also happens to come from a very anti-LGBTQ friendly country, Algeria. They do not allow for transition, okay? They don't allow for transgender people. They throw, in some cases, they still even throw gay people in jail for so-called homosexual acts, right? So now, do you think a country like that, which is so backward on LGBTQ plus issues, is going to allow a trans woman to represent them in the Olympics? Do you think that's going to happen? Come on, use your brain for just 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute. Please. No, what happened here? And this is explaining, okay, why Karini ended up having, just bowing out. By the way, it's not like she got completely knocked out from one punch. No. She got punched and ended up having to forfeit. Now, the reason that she forfeit is because of the pain from the punch. So what happened is, talking to her coach, right? Apparently, her coach said that she was on antibiotics as a result of a tooth. So she had an infected tooth, okay? And so when she got hit in the nose, she got rocked. That must have irritated or hit the tooth, and the pain for her was just too much to bear. Because, look, some of the, anybody who's had a dental issue knows that that is an incredible amount of pain, okay? Anybody who's had you know, an infected tooth or anything like that knows that it's some of the worst pain that you could imagine, right? And so for her, she's like, it was too much. I could hardly breathe. And so, yeah, it makes sense that she wouldn't be able to carry through the rest of her match. In fact, that's why she said, it's not fair. It's not fair. It hurts like hell. What she's saying is that it's not fair because, not because of my opponent is a man, right? Which a lot of people jumped to a conclusion on that, right? No, it's not fair. She said it's not fair because I got all the way to the Olympics, and then because of, you know, this, I couldn't finish the fight because of my pain. It hurt. She wanted to finish the fight to honor her dad. That's why she cried, okay? Because it's very emotionally upsetting. I understand that. It makes all that sense. In fact, she said, quote, I felt that blow. It hurt a lot. I couldn't breathe anymore. I looked at my brother in the stands and I said to myself, enough. Was it the hardest blow of her career? Someone else asks. I'll just tell you that I've never been defeated by knockout. And until today, I've never left a ring before the end of a match. I am a warrior, but sometimes even warriors, when they see that the battle is lost, stick their sword in the ground and surrender. Yes, I said it's not fair. It's not fair to give up an Olympics that were my Olympics, but it's not up to me to judge. And then, of course, she talked about her opponent, Amani. She said, I am nobody to judge Amani. The truth is that we know nothing about my opponent except one thing, that she is not at fault. She is a girl who was here to do the Olympics, like me. Who am I to judge her? So that right there is really, really important, okay? That is something to remember. The woman who lost to Amani, that all these transphobes are holding up as, she's a victim of woke ideology. She's out there saying, my opponent is a woman, and it's not her fault that I lost. Who am I to judge her? She didn't do anything wrong. It was me. I walked out. I got mad, and I got upset, and not only that, but I disrespected her when I left without doing the greeting to her. And so that was the other thing that she said. She said, quote, I was wrong. I got out of the ring full of anger. I never finished a match without greeting my opponent. I apologize to Amani for not greeting her. So, look, I think a lot of people could really benefit from actually looking into this situation. She's not blaming her loss on anyone but herself. Yeah, and I think that takes a lot of, guts to do. It's not like you're Riley Gaines, who's like, oh, I love a trans woman. No, you're a loser, right? This woman has some respect, okay? And so I've got respect for her. Yes, she showed initially poor sportsmanship, but she's like, I'm sorry. I apologize to Amani. I apologize. This was me. This was my loss, and this was my pain. All right, and there you have it. Now, here's the thing, though. Transphobes, they're not going to be swayed by this, okay? They're not going to be swayed by actual reality and facts and what's going on and looking into the situation. They've already made it their judgment that Amani's a man. That sucks. Now, the reason that they do that is because they don't care about sports. They don't care about women. They don't care about children. They don't care about facts, logic, or reason. Look, here's the thing. I've seen comments from people who don't want trans women in sports, right? And they're like, well, I just want it to be fair, right? These people are like, I don't want trans women in sports, but Amani is not a trans woman, and so please stop lying about this. Saying these things in response to these hate accounts like Libs of TikTok, right? Or J.K. Rowling. These hate accounts, though, they're not gonna change, because the reason is they're out there spreading this fake news for clicks, for outrage. Okay, And they're spreading it for the transphobes who don't care about reality. They just want to be mad. And so these accounts are out there getting what they want. Engagement, clicks, hate, anger. That's what they peddle in. Engagement. Okay? And that's all for engagement. And so at the end of the day, it doesn't matter to them who they hurt. In this case, going after a cisgendered woman who just happened to have scored a knockout hit against an opponent. That's really it. I mean, that's the reality. It shouldn't have been a big story, but unfortunately, because of all of this hatred against trans people and all this misinformation, it's what it's turned into. And that's the real tragedy. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.